Good afternoon and welcome to WEFM's Midday News, brought to you with the kind compliments of Court St. Vincent Limited.
When you're behind the wheel, stay alert. Driving safely should always be your top priority. Protect yourself and other road users by keeping your attention on the road. Stay alive. Avoid distractions like cell phones and maintain a safe distance from other vehicles. Only overtake when it is absolutely safe to do so. And remember to be on the lookout for motorcyclists. The life you save today may be yours. Alert today, alive tomorrow. This message is brought to you by AKT Motorcycles, available at courts.
Welcome back to WEFM's Midday News, brought to you with the kind compliments of Court St. Vincent Limited. I am your presenter, Rajiv Providence. First, on the local scene, Deputy Prime Minister and Minister of Transport and Works, Montgomery Daniel, has been hospitalized according to information provided by Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves during the House of Assembly's evening session on Thursday. We hear more from the Prime Minister.
I've been advised, Madam Speaker, by two of my colleagues. I don't have my phone with me so that the Deputy Prime Minister didn't send me a text message. It sent to other colleagues that he went to the Georgetown, the Modern Medical Diagnostic Center, and he's been transferred. I don't know if the transfer is complete yet to Milton Cater Memorial. I don't know if there's been any other challenge arising with his leg. Well, I'm hoping that everything is okay. I'll pass to see him, but I just think that I should inform colleagues as the information just come to us.
That was the Prime Minister, Dr. Ralph Gonsalves. While no exact details pertaining to Minister Daniel's medical condition were revealed, Prime Minister Gonsalves, in the morning session of the House of Assembly, in explaining the Transport and Works Minister's absence, had disclosed that he was experiencing an issue with a muscle in his leg. The Rainbow Radio League Yulu radio movement is now one step closer to developing an island-wide HF emergency communications MCOMS network, thanks to another donation of radios and antennas from Barrett Communications Australia. The equipment, which arrived on February 14, 2023, according to the director, Donald Riggs, can be viewed as a gift of love, not only from Barrett, but from all the agencies and government departments that assisted with the transport and clearance of this vital equipment. According to an official release, this is the third donation from Barrett Communications Australia and will be deployed in the Grenadines and other vulnerable communities throughout our multi-island state and is part of the emergency communications infrastructure that NEMO relies on in the times of national emergency. During the recent Lassufra eruptions, local hams were in daily contact with the Caribbean Disaster Emergency Management Agency SEDEMA as a redundant communications path should the phone system collapse. Still on the local scene, night landings are no longer taking place at the J.F. Mitchell Airport in Beckwith due to safety concerns, says Prime Minister Dr. Ralph Gonsalves. Prime Minister Gonsalves says these concerns stem from the precarious nature of the approach into the airport and the problems caused by the deterioration of the facility's electrical system. We hear more from the Prime Minister.
Night landing no longer takes place at J.F. Mitchell Airport due to the safety concerns about the precarious nature of the approach into that airport and problems created by the deterioration and subsequent removal of the electrical systems. There were constant problems being experienced with the lighting system. The transformers, which are an integral part of the aerodrome lighting system, would blow out very frequently, and time and again we would send teams to dig up the area and place new ones, only to have them blown out a few months later.
The Prime Minister said that the Department of Civil Aviation held meetings with the technical staff where they were informed that the root of the recurring problem stems from how the wiring was done when the airport was first built.
The root of the problem lies in how the wiring was done when the airport was built. It was not done with ducts, DUCTS, along the sides and across the runway, and the construction of pits at intervals as we have at the Argyle International and Canyon airports, but was done with armored cables, which do not provide adequate protection at the points where the cables connect to the transformers. The exposed transformers were therefore more susceptible to environmental degradation.
Speaking about the safety concerns pertaining to the approach of the airport, Prime Minister Gonzalez highlighted an issue with the Precision Approach Path Indicator.
There was a precision approach path indicator, PAPI, in use at this airport. It provides guidance to an aircraft landing while it is on final approach so that the aircraft does not fly too high or too low to make a safe touchdown. In 2012, based on the results from a flight check, the Eastern Caribbean Civil Aviation Authority ordered that the PAPI be turned off as it was placing the aircraft on a dangerous path. It is believed that the glide slope was too high, and to set it lower would place the aircraft in danger of collision with the rocks.
That was the Prime Minister, Dr. Ralph Gonzalez. The Prime Minister said the Precision Approach Path Indicator system was decided to be more to increase risk rather than reduce it. On to news in the region. Grenada's Deputy Commissioner of Police, Tafawa Pierre, has become the first Grenadian and the first Caribbean Community CARICOM citizen to receive the Great Wall Commemorative Medal. The medal is awarded especially to law enforcement officers from foreign countries who have made outstanding contributions toward protecting the safety of Chinese citizens, said a letter from the Chinese government informing Pierre about the award. A virtual ceremony to announce the recognition was done in November of 2022, but the medal was presented to him at the Chinese embassy in Grenada on Wednesday. Pierre expressed his delight at the honor, but for confidential reasons was unable to disclose the special law enforcement cooperation he participated in as part of protecting the safety of Chinese citizens. Trinidad and Tobago's Prime Minister Dr. Keith Rowley has tested positive for COVID-19. In an update via TNT's Office of the Prime Minister, Dr. Rowley reported he experienced flu-like symptoms and tested positive. The Office of the Prime Minister said Dr. Rowley will remain in isolation in keeping with the country's current COVID-19 protocols. Trinidad and Tobago's Office of the Prime Minister said he will continue working from his office at the Prime Minister's residence. Dr. Rowley was last reported to have gotten COVID-19 in November 2022, which was his third time testing for the virus. On April 6, 2021, Dr. Rowley tested positive for the contagion for the first time and was isolated. He was confirmed positive again on July 29, 2022. On the international scene, nearly 45,000 animals have died as a result of a toxic train crash this month in Ohiotown, USA, environmental officials have said. The figure from the Ohio Department of Natural Resources updates the initial estimate of 3,500 animals dead after the February 3rd derailment. The toll was all recorded within a 5-mile radius of the crash site, officials said. According to the BBC, cleanup efforts continue in East Palestine amid a federal inquiry. A total of 38 cars derailed in the crash, 11 of which were carrying hazardous materials. Residents later reported feeling unwell. Mary Mertz, who directs the Ohio Department of Natural Resources, said in a news conference on Thursday that all of the 43,700 animals found dead were aquatic species, and that there is no evidence that any terrestrial animals were killed by the train's chemicals. None of the animals were believed to be endangered or threatened species. Some live fish have already been seen returning to one of the waterways affected by the train derailment. And finally, in sports, a quite magnificent 184 not out from the prolific Harry Brook put England in the ascendancy on day one of the second and final test against New Zealand. With Joe Root also making his first century in a test, England piled on 315 for 3 before rain arrived in Wellington. The Tourists had been 21 for 3 after being asked to bat on a green pitch at the Basin Reserve, Zach Crawley, Ben Duckett and Ollie Pope all falling cheaply. But Brooke batted with all the style, certainty and confidence of a man who now has 400s in his first 6 tests. His 169-ball effort was laced with some sublime strokes and moved him to 807 test runs in total, the most after 9 innings for any player in history. This has been WEFM's Midday News. I have been your presenter, Rajiv Providence. Join us again at 3 p.m. for WEFM's 3 p.m. News. WEFM's Midday News is brought to you with the kind compliments of Courts St. Vincent Limited.
Get the kind of value you'll love that's unmatched at Courts now. We're unmatched in quality and prices. Buy any item and get up to 30% off the second item of same or equal value store-wide. When you shop with Ready Finance, you can get it now with no cash and pay over time. Now,